When we are navigating uncertainty and making changes in our lives and going through such a catalytic time, you want to make sure you have the supplies that you need to be able to support you as you're going through the change. One of the things I see with so many people when I work with them around catalyzing their lives and making changes is they don't put the structure the full structure in place. So they're kind of like a windsock without a pole. And we want to make sure that as you go through this uncertainty, you have your supplies packed. It's kind of like being a pioneer who knows that they're taking off for a new land, a new territory. They put supplies, they put support in. So in this second and our third part series on navigating uncertainty, I want to share with you a model that I call the Harmony Star. And this Harmony Star is a way to think about how you go through whatever change and transformation you're going through, whatever way you are navigating uncertainty right now. We talked a little bit about this last time, is remembering that this is not a race. You want to pace yourself. It's not a marathon. It's not a sprint. So you want to, as you're facing uncertainty and you're making change and transformation, one way to think about it is much more like a journey. I kind of joke, it's much more like Bilbo Baggins taking off in The Hobbit, and he doesn't exactly know where he's going, although hopefully there's no ogres, no mountain ogres where you and I are going. Although there definitely will be challenges. Much more than I'm going to run a marathon and then my toenails fall off, right? That's what happens. No offense to you if you are a marathon runner, but like it's, you don't run a marathon every day and you can only run it once a day. And it's not a sprint. It really is an adventure. And so think about that. Okay, so the uncertainty that I'm in, this threshold I'm crossing, the change I'm making, if you approach it as an adventure, what are you going to bring with you? And so take a look at this Harmony Star. And I call it a Harmony Star because you'll notice it's a 6-pointed star. But together, all of those 6 points create harmony, create a structure that will help you move through this transition in a more harmonious place, which then empowers you to make decisions that are actually in harmony, in alignment with yourself, with those that you lead, those that you influence on little levels and on big levels. So let's start just looking up on top and up on bottom. I'm going to start on the bottom. It's actually the most important place, which is simple practices to help you stay clear and calm every day. So my question to you is, what are the practices you have in your life that set you up in the morning and that downshift you at night to stay calm, clear, and centered? In my book, Overwhelmed and Over It, one of the pieces of wisdom I share is how you start your day is how you live your day. And if you don't have a process, a practice for how you set your field, how you connect every day, how you protect your field, you really are like a windsock with no pole. You're going to go out there and you're just going to get blown around and overtaken by the chaos of the world. So now as I go through these different parts, don't despair if you're like, I don't have any of these. Because here's the great thing. Empowerment comes first from awareness. So you can't change what you can't see. You can't even go ask for what you need if you don't know what it is. So as we go through each one of these, I'm going to come back around and say, okay, then what is it that you do need? And this is where your power comes from to then co-create with the universe to say, okay, I actually need these things. Now let me take the steps to put them into practice. And for this one specifically, it's a big focus of my work. It's why I wrote Overwhelmed and Over It. It's a big piece of the work I do because I don't know how to get people out of overwhelm or help you create an aligned life or even help you be a great leader if you don't and are not rooted in your practices. And so I'll put a link here to my daily flow, morning flow practice kit that I created. It's free. You can download it. And it teaches you the 4 points of connection and the 3 points of protection to give you a recipe for how to start your day. So that one's already taken care of. Then if we go over to the top, stay focused on your part. That's a big one because the thing is that each of us have a part to play. We're kind of like an instrument in the orchestra. And you're an instrument and I'm an instrument. And if you and I stay focused on our piece and our part and you know what your part is, and it's not just your job. For those of you who are parents out there, one of your parts is to raise whole children who have self-esteem and compassion for others. And so that's a job. That's part of your part. And then there are other parts too. And so just considering that, like if you don't know what your part is, or you're not sure what your part is, that's an indicator of, and this is connected to purpose, but it's even more than that, because sometimes purpose feels like, oh, it's so big, I have to save the world. Most people are not here to save mass numbers of people. We're here to actually affect all the people around us. And when we can get focused on our part, we can start to value our part. And then you know what happens? You stop feeling like you're not doing enough. So where are you on that one? Do you know your part, or is that a place for you to focus this year? And then let's go here to the top parts of the triangle, to the kind of top parts of that bottom triangle, self-awareness. So you'll see self-awareness on 4 levels: mind, body, heart, and soul. A lot of times we just think about the self in terms of the mind, because our culture is obsessed with the mind. And part of the reason we don't make changes and they don't stick is because we're not taught how to get into the heart level. We're not taught how to get into the soul level. And the body, we bring it along just basically to do exercise. But there's so much wisdom. You actually have a lot of brain centers in your body that have nothing to do with the brain up here. Did you know that? And we could talk about that. Each one of these sections could be a whole video series. And so one of the things I do is I'll do a lot of other things other than these video series, because I know I get about 10 minutes max with you all per video. And so I do my Feminine Power Time podcast series, which is for all people. And we just did a series on redefining our relationships. And the first one is called The 4 Parts of Self. And I think it's number 147-ish around there. That's a great one to listen to go deeper into this and to consider those 4 different parts. But what I'm sharing with you is like, oh, are you really aware of what it is your heart wants? Are you really aware what your soul destiny is? Are you aware with how this crazy mind works up here? And are you aware of those deeper wisdom centers in your own body? If not, that's a place to look. And then we'll go over here, structure to set the pace and path forward. We're going to talk about that in the next video. That's all about working in rhythm, in focus, and fluidity. More on that in the next video. And then down here on the bottom, we have superpowers to access wisdom, truth, courage, and possibility. And that's a lot about exploring all these different ways of working and living that we've not been taught in our education system. So for example, intuition is a superpower. How connected to your intuition are you? We focus a lot on the intellect, but not on the intuition. Do you know how your intuition works? Do you know how it speaks to you? Do you know how it works? And if not, that's a realm to look at. And so there's lots going to be more videos here. It's a big part of what I teach as well. But just like thinking like, okay, so yeah, I got to have a strong intellect. Then there's also like, just like Wonder Woman has her superpowers, we want to strengthen that wisdom, that truth, that courage over time. So when the big uncertainty happens, you don't get blown over. It would be like training for a marathon and being like, I think I'll start running 2 days before the marathon. So if you've not been training in these other parts, the big buzzword now is resilience. It's going to take time at an energetic level and an emotional level to really build up that resilience, but also that deeper wisdom. And then the last one is support and Sangha. Sangha just means community. Who's your community? Where's the support coming from? This is the part where I see so many people fall down. They think they can do it on their own. We're told to need support is weak. We're told we should be able to do it on our own. Time of the lone wolf is over. The whole needing support is weak is a bunch of BS. We all need support. I've worked with many different people and mentors. I have 2 mentors who I've worked with for over a decade, and I will probably continue to work with because they know me. They feel like they're the wise women that walk to my left. I am part of leadership councils and groups of people who are connected because they're also, for me, we have a similar passion around consciousness and around feminine leadership. And I also create my own and invite people, and it's one of my superpowers is gathering really conscious people, especially conscious women together in community who know that they're here to play a part and want to do it differently. And so the communities are around, and it's making space for them, not finding time. And so just look at this harmony star and don't get overwhelmed. Pick 1, maybe 2 realm to say, you know what? I'm going to go deeper in that place. And then spend the next couple months doing so and working in co-creation with the universe around it. Think about the universe. This is how it works. This is the wisdom teaching. The universe will reach its hand down if you reach your hand up. So if you say, okay, Christine, I need some deeper awareness right now around self-awareness, body, mind, heart, and soul. And I actually, if you look across, I need some support and Sangha to do that. Great. And you're invited to come to any of the things I'm doing. Come over to the Feminine Wisdom Way Cafe, which is a place for meaningful connection. It's a great place to start to get connected. And I also mentioned the podcast. Those are great places to start. Or wherever you get it from. I don't care so much where you get it. I just care that you get what you need so that you really can harmonize and rise and stand in your part and be part of creating the world that we all want to live in for ourselves and for all of people and planet. So that is it for today. Check out the podcast and I'll see you for the next video.